right. What was your feelings on the award show? First, just the concept before we move on to the actual winners and the nomination process.
Any time independent wrestling is getting put on a pedestal or being promoted, I'm all for it. So when I heard about the award show, my first thing is awesome. You know, that means a bunch of guys are gonna get together, fans are gonna get together, and there's gonna be, you know, an award show is like, it's respecting what the best of the best. Do I agree with all the winners? No, but do I agree with that there should be an award show? Yeah, definitely, man. It's something to strive for. And you know, a lot of people are like, oh, you know, an award from them doesn't mean anything. Like, dude, an award from your peers means a lot. So, you know, the Golden Mike Award, Rest of the Year, you know, whatever you guys had, Diamond in the Rough, whatever, it's good stuff, man, and it creates a positive environment, and it makes people strive for good things. So why not? I'm all for it. You guys have my support. I watched the show. I couldn't make it because I think you guys had it on a Sunday night, and I had work, like, you know, on Monday. Otherwise, I would, if Saturday, Friday, I would have came by too, you know. But yeah, complete support, and you guys do your thing, man.
Your feelings?
I agree with him. Anytime professional wrestling can be looked at in a higher regard, or the wrestlers can be looked at in a higher regard, is better for the business. You know, like he said, anytime your peers award you with something, it's a much better feeling than if, you know, a promoter gives you a belt. You know, because this is a group of all your peers and fans that voted for you. You know, in a very egotistical business, it's something that doesn't involve it shouldn't involve any ego. Unfortunately, it did, but it shouldn't.
Who do you think, we've got a question about the winners, so I guess we can move on to this question. Name 5 of the wrestlers you think we overrate and 5 that you think we underrate. Or it doesn't even have to be 5. You can give us 2 that you think we overrate. I can give you 2 I think we underrate and give too much crap, and I'll give you my reason. CJ Esparza, Brett Gaikia. The only reason for that is because I expect more out of them because they are so good, and I give them a lot of crap.
Yeah, I don't do flips.
I do.
Yes. I think I've done like 10 in my entire 4 years.
And 8 of them was when he's being forced.
Yes, exactly. But I've tried to do flips during training. I mean, I've landed ridiculously trying to do not sunset flips, shooting star presses and, you know, 450s. And it takes, you got to be an athlete to be able to do it. And I think a lot of people are jealous of CJ and Brett because of what kind of athletes they are, that they can pull this stuff out and make it look so fluid.
So easy.
I mean,
they've had to practice on a trampoline.
Regardless of where they did it at, the fact is they can do it.
Yeah, I think CJ used to practice in a pool, maybe. I think that's what he had told me before, off a diving board. But even still, I mean, you're landing on a mat that if, you know, you land a little bit wrong.
Yeah, the mat's a mat, but you land the wrong way, it's lights out. So
yeah, and
right.
And like going off your comment, like you expect more out of them. You always expect more out of everybody, but I think for how long they've been in and seeing the level of guys they work, I think they're right at their game right now. You know, I expect more out of them in a few years. Yeah, you know, like one thing I always get on Brett about is his size. I was like, yo, you know, you gotta hit the gym, man. Like CJ's looking good nowadays. I don't know if you guys see this. CJ's putting on some pounds and stuff, but yeah, like they're right at where they need to be at this point in their career, I think.
I think Brett and CJ, you've heard of, like, you know, sports teams playing to their competition. I think Brett and CJ do that a lot. If you put them in the ring, like an SCW, put them in the ring with, you know, Danny Daniels and Trick Davis,
they'll tear it up.
They do ridiculous. I mean, they actually wrestle. Yeah. But if you put them in the ring with Joe Blow and
Ho Schmo,
they're gonna, you know, wrestle to their competition because their competition can't keep up with them. And can't do the...
The thing about the cruiserweight style that they wrestle, I know because I used to do the whole cruiserweight thing. Like, you really, that thing really takes 2 to dance. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like, Brett can do all of his cool stuff if a guy, you know, I'll throw the name out there, no disrespect from, like, Josh Powers, completely different style. Like, Josh Powers won't be able to Josh Powers won't be able to get Brett to do all this. You know, it's not going to happen. It's gonna turn into, like, you know, a botch after botch after botch. So I think Brett knows that. I think Josh knows that as well, you know. So Brett and CJ both together. They wrestle according to the level of competition they have that night. So
Someone else that I find underrated, Eric Logan. He doesn't, not very many people talk about him. And
he's the one with curly hair, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was here for VBI, right?
Yeah, he is very, he's smooth in the ring. He's crisp. He's just someone, I've talked to him before about it, and I think he has a job where he can't really travel a lot too. So I think that's why he doesn't get around very many places except for New Midwest or the occasional show somewhere else. He's definitely somebody that's very underrated.
To add to that list, I don't know why I just noticed it was actually last show at Next Generation. I love Bobby Houston.
Yes.
Man, I love Bobby Houston. Man, the guy is so old. He
You talk
reminds
about
me.
a lot with little, that guy.
Yeah, and the thing is, I'm telling you, I watched his match and I really liked it. I honestly, I came with him brother, that was a good match. The guy, exactly what you said, a lot with the little, and he's so old school, but it's so fresh still. And the guy has a look down. People are gonna be like, oh, there's no way you can compare. He reminds me of a young Von Erich brother. He wrestles just like that. The whole fist, everything, man. I was like, dude,
he can make an armbar exciting.
Yeah, and the guy is so animated in his face. If you just watch his face, he's so animated. And his body movements are on key. He's so smooth in the ring, and I think I never hear anything about Bobby Houston. I don't know why. Bobby Houston is a damn good wrestler.
Yeah, we always talk about him on camera, off camera it seems, and never.
Yeah, I don't see him
He's been around the country.
Yeah, and I'm sure he
got
has,
trained by
man.
George South Sr.
Yeah, and you can see it, man. The guy's damn good, and I give him my stamp of approval any day.
Yeah, I've wrestled him a couple of times, and you don't have to do much with him, and it's going to be a good match because he like I say, he can actually make an armbar exciting to the people that are watching the show.
He's probably due for a nomination for Wrestler of the Year this year.
Definitely, I would say so too.
Who do you think we overrate?
Not to step into the trouble pool here or anything like that, but it's not because he has a similar gimmick or not. But I've seen Hassan D work, and I don't see where the praise comes from. I hear people put him over all the time, and I think he's a really basic good worker. Yeah, he
Well,
does.
he says I don't put him over enough.
Yeah, I think you put him over more than enough. That's the problem. I seen him work, and I got bored during his match, and he's gonna be like, oh, he's a flippy kid talking. I've worked heavyweight style matches. I've been in the heavyweight division before. I'm not the biggest guy, but believe me, I know what's going on in the ring. And I watch his match, and I think he's that guy that gets heat just because his character. I'm not saying anything. He doesn't play the character right. I'm just saying his actual match. I don't see where he gets that praise from at all. Yeah, the character's awesome. He can get heat. That's great. But you got to get it done in the ring too, and I don't think he gets it done in the ring.
What are your feelings about? I don't think I'm exposing anyone. Anyone who knows anything about the Muslim religion, anyone who's that extremist and doing that's not going to have tattoos all over their body.
Yeah.
Because if they're extreme Muslims, fundamentalist Muslims, they're not going to have
You're not going to see the tattoos, and I don't want to expose too much or anything, but I'm really Muslim, so this gimmick's 110%. I can't say the same thing about Hadid, but one thing that kind of bothered me, I think we were at one show, and he has a national flag of a country, and on that flag it actually has the name of God on it, and I like the Muslims' God, and I saw him just kind of leaving the flag on the floor and stuff, and that, if you're gonna do a gimmick and you're gonna tap into someone's culture, research it a lot, and make sure you're not offending anyone with it. And I know to him it was no big deal, but it was not something that warranted a confrontation. So when he wasn't looking, I just picked it up and put it against the wall. It wasn't a big deal, but it's just little stuff like that. So
It's a football and flag carrier anyway.
yeah, if you're gonna rep a country, if you're gonna rep a type of people, get it down to a T. If you got tattoos on you and whatnot, and you're leaving the flag on the floor, it's if Kyle walked in, I'm doing the American gimmick, but he dropped the flag on the floor and walked away, it's
It's disrespecting the country and what you represent.
yeah. I'm not even from that country. I forgot what flag it was. I think it was the Israeli flag. I'm not even, or a Palestine flag. I'm not even from Palestine, but it's kind of teed me off a little bit.
What about you? Overrated?
I've never seen,
Gilbert Lewis. I'm just kidding, Gilbert.
actually, Gilbert's one of the underrated people,
Yes.
I think.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about playing characters,
Oh man.
from what he's like in talking to him, on a day-to-day basis compared to his character, it is night and day. he goes to hate breed concerts,
Right,
kill switch
right,
engage concerts,
right.
and he comes out and plays a nerd, and he does it
Yeah.
perfectly.
It's scary how good it is.
It is.
I wanted to nominate Gilbert and Dewey Dawson for tag team, but Kristen wanted to go along with that.
Dewey's another guy that plays his character
Yeah.
really well.
But the thing with Dewey, he's really like that in the
Yeah.
back. Like, no, Dewey is Dewey, you know? Gilbert, yeah, he's night and day, but Dewey is Dewey.
Yeah.
But Gilbert Lewis, man, that's the definition of underrated right there. The guy hits so damn hard, and he always gets crap for you didn't do too much. He's another guy. He doesn't have to do too much in this match. The crowd just loves him, man. I've been with him to Indiana, Chicago, Wisconsin, here, and the guy's super over. Like, just listen to the crowd when he comes out. I don't understand where the non-push comes from. I don't get it. It's like, oh, he got cheered. Let's not push that guy. Like, that's the mentality nowadays. So
As far as people that are overrated, I'll be honest, I don't watch a whole lot of Central Illinois wrestling. I mean, I watch a few of Crime Fighters matches that he puts out. I mean, I don't know, as far as overrated goes,
well, let me hear some of the guys that you guys think are highly, like, on your high boat, and I'll tell you if I agree or not.
Yeah, and we're just. I'm shaded by the fact that I am a fan, and some of the guys
Right.
have been following for a long time. Favorite next generation wrestler guy has to be Ryan Phoenix.
Right on, I agree. Phoenix is awesome.
Yeah.
The guy's cardio is insane. I don't understand his
it's
cardio.
ridiculous.
The guy won't work out. He smokes like 3 packs of cigarette before a match, and
Yeah,
he's waiting for you for the next move. It's ridiculous. And Ryan's one guy legit. Like, I get a lot of flack for calling out a lot of my match. Phoenix is one guy, we'll call a match in like 2 minutes. It's like, what's the finish? What's this? And we just call it, like, Phoenix just goes, man. The guy's a machine in the ring.
he's
Much respect to him.
Yeah, he's probably something that makes you a good wrestler in the ring. It's how smooth and crisp your moves are, how crisp your transitions are, and Ryan Phoenix is, I mean, he's
unfortunately,
ridiculous.
yeah, he's a case of a good wrestler that will never be known because he doesn't travel. I don't know if it's because of financial reason or because he doesn't want to, but like if he just
That's
went
why
out,
he got
He
a
works-
nomination for Diamond in a Rough.
Yeah, he works a lot. He works second shift, so
Right,
Fridays
yeah,
are out. I know he's got family at home.
right? I know it's
So he needs a weekday show is what he really needs.
yeah, it's
I
unfortunate.
need a weekday show.
Yeah, so it's
Go to
unfortunate.
CCW in Evansville, Indiana on Wednesdays.
Been there
Couldn't do
once.
it.
2-hour drive. Not fun.
Who else you guys got?
I can name people.
Go ahead.
I'm kind of high on the future Donovan Ruddock, the 6'9" monster, the current LWA heavyweight champion.
I like
Oh,
him.
yeah.
I like him a lot. Not only is he's a good wrestler. He might not play that 6'9" monster gimmick very well because he does the things he does in the ring, or at least when I saw. It's been about a year since I've seen him wrestle, but he's
He's transitioned to a Jamaican nationality gimmick.
okay. He's
Kofi Kingston's mad now.
he's
He's from Ghana,
so
so
that guy's awesome at playing Jamaican.
Yeah, Kofi's not really Jamaican, by the way. I got the scoop on that. I'll tell you
Greetings
later.
from Ghana.
But he's he plays a great character, and he does big man moves, and he's legitimately big. I mean, he's not 6'9" and 420 pounds of fat. He's 6'9" and wears biker shorts and no shirt because he's pretty ripped.
yeah.
He's good.
Do you want to just move on to name association since we're on this vein?
Okay.
And we
anyway?
might as well.
We've covered Brett and CJ. Any more thoughts on those two?
They're at where they need to be, and I see them not putting them on a pedestal because they're friends of mine or anything like that. But out of all the Central Illinois guys, if they really committed to this stuff and they really got if they made this their life and they got committed and they put on size, I see no reason why they can't be an ROH in 2 years.
I think their work with Elite Pro is going to mold them.
Right.
They're still rough around the edges.
Yes.
But working with the Tomasellis, and all the guys at Elite Pro, Acid, that is only going to help them. I know they've gotten a little bit of work in IWA Mid-South. That's only going to elevate them even higher. The sky's the limit for those guys as long as they want it.
They can have it.
Yeah.
It's whether they want it or not.
Axis is another guy that if he'd put the time in, he
seems so nonchalant in shows though. He's
I know.
I don't care if I'm here or not. That's his.
he's the kind of guy that has some of the most innovative offensive moves I have ever seen.
Your guys' feud was awesome.
He's got stuff that I steal when I go to other places. But if he'd motivate himself, his problem is in his mind he thinks he sucks, and he is far from that.
You have that Ali mentality. Great.
Yeah. But yeah, he's another guy that's right along with Brett and CJ. I think that if he sticks with it, stays in the gym, keeps the book. I know he worked at Elite Pro. I don't know if he still does or not.
They didn't really have a spot for him. No.
Yeah, but I mean, working shows like that can only elevate him, learning and getting better.
We talked about Bobby Houston and Eric Logan. Anything to add about those two?
Not much.
Guy Smith.
Or Dominic Jackson, and we're not supposed to mention Dominic Jackson's name on the show again.
Well, Guy Smith is a perfect example of a guy going out, learning from like one of the best, and coming back and just blowing people away. I remember before he went to Harley stuff, I was not impressed at all by him. He came back from Harley's thing, and wow, the guy, you see him being confident, and it's not a cocky thing. The guy's confident. Before he goes out, he puts on his shades, he puts on his little headband, you see him do his little juke and jive before he goes out, and like it's all confidence now. He's like, oh, let's go do this thing. Before it was like, man, what am I gonna do tonight? Now he knows, oh, that's my match. All right, don't worry about it. You see it, like, and you see the in-ring work improve. You see that confidence boost and everything. And I can't say enough about Harley. I didn't get to meet him, but I've seen the guys that he's improved. And Guy Smith is just another example of like, go out there and learn, man. Just go out there and learn from the best. And yeah.
Absolutely, I completely agree. He took his time, spent his money, and learned with one of the best wrestlers.
Spend a lot of money.
Yeah, it's
That's like going to college, though, man. That's a Harvard.
Yeah. That's like, and the thing is, like, it's not done. Like, Harley will hook you up later.
Right.
Like, if you're like Keith Walker, like, hey, cool, I'm cool with him. I talk to him all the time. Keith wouldn't get to Japan by himself. Like, let's face it, Keith's not gonna like, hey, let me get to Japan.
He just main evented over in Japan.
Yeah, and he's kicking butt over there, man. He's and the guys
he didn't see anything in him.
Yeah, and the guys he's losing to are like top guys over there.
Kobashi,
Hiroshima. And it's awesome. And it's his hard work, no doubt. It's his hard work and his training. The guy's in awesome shape, but Harley's the one that gets you there. So hey, I plan on going to Harley one day too. Once I got the money and the time to do so.
Yeah, if you offered me either, you can call it a scholarship since you said it was college, to either like the Ring of Honor school or to Harley Race, I would take Harley Race because he's made he's made plenty of more students than Ring of Honor ever has. I mean, you can't name me a single student from Ring of Honor that has gone anywhere other than the undercard for Ring of Honor.
Plus, and along these lines, if you go to Harley school, you could probably spar with Delirious for free, but if you were to go to the ROH school and tried to go backwards, you'd have to pay for both.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Harley Race, not saying the connections for Ring of Honor aren't there, because they absolutely are, but Harley Race, I mean, Pro Wrestling Noah, that's top of.
You just gotta look at the level you want to. If you're happy with working for ROH and that's the top of your mountain, go to the ROH school. You'll get to work for ROH. There you go, lifelong dream achievement.
If you really get beat up by Chris Hero, go to the Ring of Honor.
Yeah, go ahead. But if you like me, I want to go to Japan, man. That's my lifelong goal. So ROH isn't the answer. It's Harley. It just depends. Just define your goals and find the best way to get there, I guess.
I'll get to that later. Prince Ali. That's a question for you. What do you think of Prince Ali?
I'm scared about this one.
Nah, he's one of my favorite people to work. I've pushed for him to be a partner with me because I think we could do some really cool stuff. Tag moves. That's something that wrestling lacks these days. Is good tag teams that have tag moves. You see it a lot in Dragon Gate and Japan, and I know he's really innovative.
Not at all. Still all my stuff from Japan. Just kidding.
But no, I mean, smooth, crisp. He can call you a 45-minute match, and when you're in the ring with him and you have no idea where you're at, he remembers everything that you called. And, you know, people might say, oh, well, you're not a real professional if you have to call everything in the back. Well, these people don't realize WWE has people that call their matches for them and then plug stuff in.
Right.
You know, so you're not a professional, you're not great if you can go in and work on the fly, because 9 times out of 10, you're botching 14 suplexes in a match because that's the only thing you can think of to do.
And the thing is, to those guys, like I've had guys say that to my face, like, oh, you call a lot. I was like, no disrespect, but I got matches tonight and you didn't.
Right.
So, I mean, if that's a cheat sheet I got to use to call some stuff in the match, and it's not that I call every single punch and every single tap. Like, there's a lot of improv in my matches. It's not, I know what I'm doing out there, but I like to give the fans their money's worth. I like to do cool stuff. I'm not going to put the same match on week after week after week. You'll watch my matches. There's always a cool new spot in there, and that's how I do it. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm the most successful guy right now by any means, but I feel like I'm in a better position than a lot of other guys, and I'm just going to stick to what I'm doing. So,
Another guy kind of notorious for that is Macho Man Randy Savage. Not a lot of fans debate his greatness. So,
all right.
Yeah, it was. Well, the match with him and Steamboat, they worked.
Just like
they worked this
crazy, man. Yeah.
they worked the same match, move for move for move, for 6 months before the WrestleMania match, and that's regardless one of the best matches in history of wrestling. I mean, you know, they knew where each other were going to be, and that's wrestling's like dancing. You got to know where each other's going to be.
Sometimes
To
one
get
guy
there.
leads, yeah, and sometimes one guy's leading.
Yeah.
I like to take charge.
And
of my matches.
I love working someone that can lead and call spots for me, because when people ask me what I want to do in a match, I usually give them a blank stare, because
His exact words or whatever.
yeah, because I punch and kick these days. I mean, that's really it.
okay, we got a lot of names here. Do you think we're going to be able to get down through all
Oh,
the names?
let's rapid fire these.
Yeah, just wrap it. I'll keep him short.
Andy Roberts.
Needs a lot of work. Good guy. Just needs a lot of work still.
Yeah, he's a guy that I think's kind of underrated. He gets good heat whether he's a face or a heel. Going out and getting work is only going to improve him as long as he gets work at the right places. You can't go to crap-fed A and
Right.
and wrestle, you know, in their opening match against their guy who's had 3 matches and get better. That's the only thing Andy needs to do is
Right.
pick his shows more smart. Maybe find somebody to travel with to get him on to smaller cards of the shows. And,
Like average Joe Leonard.
yeah.
Abuse of power.
Yeah. MVP, Josh.
Perfect. Yeah. Josh Power's an MVP. Perfect example of what Kyle was saying before. A tag team move set. They don't got that.
They don't have them yet.
Yeah, they vibe off each other. You can see that they work well together. But you're not a tag team when you get tagged in, you do your own move, then you tag out. You're a tag team when you guys beat up a guy together.
Yeah,
That's when you're a tag
They've
team.
been working together for
For as long as
Two-
they've been together, it's kind of
2
Well, they
years
feuded
now.
for a year, and then they started
No,
feuding.
like I'm not doing a compare analysis at all, but watch, the minute me and Kyle start tagging, you'll see tag team moves galore, and that's because it's tag team wrestling, and I don't think those guys have gotten that concept. Yeah, you can get the Killer Bee outfits and you can match the same gear, but there's no moveset there,
And yet,
so there's
they
no
won all
legit
these tag
tag.
titles somehow.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, I was
Unless
watching the
there's
show.
not really very many good
They
tag
won this
teams.
tag title, that title. And that's the thing. The tag team scene is, you watch it on Raw, watch it on everywhere. The tag team scene is like a joke nowadays.
That's something, getting away from the wrestlers for a second. That's something about Central Illinois wrestling, is if you're a friend of a promoter. I mean, if you're nice to all these different promoters, a lot of them will bring you in and put belts on you.
That's just not Central Illinois. That's anywhere, man.
Yeah, but-
to me, that's anywhere. You're good. You're good in Chicago. You get in with the right people, you get pushed. You're good in Philly, you get pushed. You're good in Canada, you get pushed. That's anywhere, man.
That's true. I'm
Chris-
sorry, I'm not as well traveled as you.
Shut up.
Chris Hazard.
Talk about the guy that was the man. Chris Hazard was the man, and either by choice or whatever, he just decides not to be anymore.
Well, he tried to retire a couple of times.
Yeah,
didn't he?
that's the thing. Like, I remember when I first
came
started.
back.
Yeah, I first started coming in here, and man, Chris Hazard was the man. I was all like, bro, like, I want to get you in Chicago, and I gave out his number, and all these guys in Chicago wanted to book him, and he was just, whatever. I think he came down for a shot or two at Slam.
Ow.
At 8, yeah, you know, I don't know what he did, but
Wrestled.
yeah, I just gave out his number to all these promoters. I said, call this guy, he's the man. And like literally,
Yeah.
Chris had his like the man gimmick, and like I don't know what happened. When I came back, I took some time off and downstate. When I came back, like he just doesn't care anymore, and that's not like a shot at him at all. I just wish he didn't. I wish he was as passionate about it as he was, because I saw like the world in that guy.
Yeah, and I completely agree. He's got all of the tools. He's got the intensity. He's got the size. He just, some guys
Doesn't
just
care.
don't care.
And everyone gets to that point sometimes.
Yeah, everybody gets burned out.
Casey Jackson.
I just had the pleasure of working with Mr. Jackson.
Yeah, you're very.
Yeah.
Oh no, you wrestled him.
No, I wrestled him in the 3-way with CJ, and I don't want to seem like I'm dogging the guy either on this one either, but like good basic worker and nothing that makes him stand out. If you're on the indie scene, man, just remember there's 300 of you, and there's like you gotta differentiate yourself somehow. Like he simply walks out, tags some hands, does a nice top rope drop kick, and that's it. It's like, all right, does anybody remember your name? And I remember asking him, like, oh, what's something flashy doing?
Well, we went by the name Hardcore KC, but
Yeah,
he
and
dropped that.
and he should have stuck to that. I'm not saying he's the only guy with the name
but
of
there's Hardcore Craig out there.
Yeah, but Hardcore Craig is where? He's
Chicago.
3 hours
yeah.
away. Yeah, dominate this scene with the name of Hardcore. What's wrong with that? There's an Arabian guy that's 2 hours away from me. I'll still do the Arabian gimmick here. I don't give a damn. It's like you gotta differentiate yourself, man. That's key. And the guy was one of the most bland guys I worked. He's a cool guy, but really bland.
Yeah, I've worked KC pretty much more times than I can really count, and he's just like you say. He's the guy that doesn't do anything flashy, but does everything right.
Right.
And that he's the type of person that makes a good indie show. But he's not the type of person that's going to go far in the
Right.
indies because he doesn't do anything.
He's
that
an
sticks
indie
out.
guy. Yeah, he's a good indie worker.
He's a guy that you can put on any show. You're going to get a good, solid match, because he does everything right. But he's not going to be your main event guy that's going to be, selling T-shirts and hats and stuff like that to kids because he doesn't stick out.
Dangerous Drew Thomas.
I got to meet the guy at VBI, I believe. And unfortunately, I did not watch this match, so I can't really comment on his work at all. But is he the one that suffered a neck injury?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what is he okay now? Is he back or?
He's
He
not
can-
returned to the ring
Yeah,
yet.
he
No.
can
Hey,
take the neck brace off, but he usually keeps it on.
Yeah, but I remember the guy's still in great shape though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and hey, props to him, man. You got a great look. I haven't seen you work or anything like that, but just props to having a great build.
I saw him about a year before the VBI, I think, and really wasn't impressed. Thought he was sloppy. Didn't think he looked very good in the ring. When it come to VBI, I was sitting in the crowd, and wow, he had improved 150% from what I originally saw, and it's a shame that he, had the unfortunate accident. Because if he would have still been improving now like he was then, who knows how far he'd be, because he had improved just a ridiculous amount in the 1 year, about a year since I had seen him the first time.